What's up, guys? The GovNer back in town. Played a couple games today. Got 3 games as usual. Unfortunately, did not do as well as I wanted to.
I will fight
but
with honor.
Can always learn from the mistakes. So for this opening hand, looks fairly good. We are playing a rogue. So I think I could kind of make everything work. I mean, I want the shade, of course, you know, as early as possible, since it does have that drawback of only getting 1/1. Another Eldor Peacekeeper, which is fairly good. It's one of my favorite cards in this deck.
The pleasure is mine.
Well met.
Okay, he's just gonna dagger up here. I am playing my Paladin deck.
I wonder.
I'm coining because I really and truly feel that the faster I can get the shade out, the better chances I can actually make it work. And part of the reason is that if I can get it to around about 3 or 4 sets of buffs, I can potentially Blessings of Kings with that, or a Blessed Champion, which is somewhat the plan. It's always a gamble, of course, and it's going to be difficult because there's going to be plenty of situations where I could really use that card. And it's going to be one of those, you know, thinking moments whether I use it or maybe I don't. Okay, we see the Ambusher. That's one of the new rogue cards. Personally, don't think that's the greatest card. It's a 5/5 for 4 mana, which is really nice. But that drawback of sending one of your cards back, I mean, it's so situational when it's going to actually work. Because if you're playing against someone that's actually reasonably good at this game, they're going to know which cards to pick off first, so you don't get any benefit out of that card. I'm sure someone can make it work, just haven't quite seen it yet. Okay, so we're just trying to go for his face at the moment. He's gonna take 3 to the face.
I see.
Lothab. Alright, that's very nice. We got him down to 1 health. I'm seeing Lothab played in a lot of decks, and frankly, I think it might be more of a beneficial card in the hands of someone that's really, really good at this game. Maybe around, you know, rank 3, 2, 1. I'm sure they would, you know, the players up there would probably make better use of that card, but at the level that I'm at, you know, that card just really, it's really iffy. It just doesn't work that well. You know, because it's basically going to silence a bunch of spells that I'm probably not even going to use anyways. There's really only 1 or 2 moments I can think that would probably be beneficial. Like if you had a bunch of, let's say, 4 or 5 minions on the board and they're all like 2 health, and you're like, okay, this guy's going to consecrate, then, you know, it'd be nice just to get them past for 1 more turn. But at the same time, if I don't have consecrate, then it's kind of a waste of time, because what happens if I draw it into the next one? You know, then the beneficial buff is kind of useless, but it's still a decent card though. So okay, we're gonna see Karn Blacktooth, Karn or whatever his name is. Our shade is currently at 6/6, which is nice. Probably gonna silence that because I do not want him to have a second iteration of that card. Get the other shade out. I am considering taking one of the shades out, and the problem with why I kind of came to the conclusion that 2 of them is not exactly good is that if I throw one of them down early in the game, it's nice because it'll collect the buffs and whatnot, but if I get another one of them down, you know, mid-game or towards the end, it's borderline useless. I'm still kind of going back and forth thinking about it, but we'll see. See the dancing swords or the rune blades, whatever they're called. That's a It's a pretty good card, and I think you need to have that one card that silences it. I think it's Wailing Soul or something like that. That actually might work with it. But if you don't have that card, giving your opponent an extra card, it's just not necessarily, I don't know. Again, that's another iffy card. I mean, so many of these Nax cards are really situational or iffy when they can kind of be used. I mean, Ooze is a fairly good card. I mean, you just can't really go wrong with it. I mean, for the mana cost and what you can do with it, I mean, it's just exceptional. Okay, so he's going to take my Ooze out, which kind of sucks. I was just hoping by some chance he was not going to go for it. I'm going to see Ragnaros. That's going to hurt. And does he get it? Oh, man. Okay, well, there's the gamble, guys. You know, if you play the Shade, you do what I did there. I don't foresee that it was a bad play. And the reason is that, you know, if by some chance Ragnaros missed and I drew into Blessed Champion and I got an 8/8, I could potentially hit him for 16 damage. You know, sometimes you just, you know, if you want to win, you occasionally do have to take these gambles. And they don't always win. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. It's just part of the game. Alright, so I'm down to one card. The other possible addition to the deck is adding... Oh god, we got Ysera here. Oh, that's a bit of a problem. But not to worry. Alright, so that's game one. Kind of forgot I had the True Silver Champion there for a second. Alright, so we're to rank 13, which is kind of nice. I've got another 2 games to go. Our next opponent is going to be a Shaman. Seems like kind of Shamans are coming back a little bit. Seemed like they had a little bit of a break for a little bit. Got the Knife Juggler. The Ironbeak Owl. I really want to keep that Ironbeak Owl, and the reason is that Shamans obviously always are going to play a lot of cards that either have a buff to them or are, you know, like let's take the Flame Tongue Totem. That's a classic one because if you throw down those, if you throw down the Feral Spirit and you throw that down, I mean, that's, you know, it's great because now, you know, you got the Feral Spirit protecting the totem and the totem's buffing them. So it's kind of a difficult combination and kind of forces you sometimes to have to, you know, waste minions or throw a Consecrate and a Quality down if it gets really bad. So it'll be things like that. I've also been seeing some Shamans are actually running that massive taunt they have. I did see that in my last game. I was playing a couple games off video just for fun, and I saw that card come out quite a bit. Our Urshock. Okay, for a minute there I was a little confused what he was doing there, but I forgot he had the totem there. Okay, we're just gonna do the Echoing Ooze, and the reason is that, you know, unfortunately, I'm not gonna waste a Hammer of Wrath on the 0/2. I was waiting for a better minion, and so I'm just gonna play the Ooze, and I mean, obviously the Owl, I'm not gonna waste the Silence. I'll speak of the Devil. That's exactly what I'm talking about. This Earth Elemental is what it is making its way into a lot of decks. Now, I do know that it obviously comes at the cost of 3 extra mana being disabled for the next turn. So you really got to try and see if there's a way you can take advantage of that. Because typically, you know, you can almost bank on the fact that they're not going to be playing much for the next turn. Maybe a totem, maybe a small minion. So you really want to try and get this the Earth Elemental out of the way fast, if possible. Oh no, that's terrible. Alright, so we're seeing the Reincarnate. That's really going to make things difficult. See what we get. Wild Pyromancer. Okay, that'll go with the Equality, but it's not going to do me much good here. Because I got too many minions on the board, and especially it's going to silence my Shade. The drawback is that when that shade is on the board, if I throw down the Wild Pyromancer and the Equality, he could do Lightning Storm and get rid of the shade. Even though it might be like, let's say, a 8-1 or a 9-1 or a 10-1, it'll die to the Thunderstorm, especially, or the Lightning Storm, I'm sorry, especially even if it's a 6-2 or even a 6-3, or for example, because, you know, it's kind of depending if they got the Spell Power Totem out, and it's also got the random luck of either hitting for 2 or 3 damage or 3 or 4 damage if you get the Spell Power Totem. We see another Earth Elemental. This guy's just continually stalling. I'm assuming that's part of the strategy. Just kind of wear me down. And I'm not gonna lie, this may cost me the game because my deck is just not built around dealing with these large minions. I was more relying on the fact that most of these decks that are being played are smaller cost, especially like Zoo is a classic example of that. Some of the priest decks rely on Divine Spirit Inner Fire combos. I know at this ranks, I understand that when the ranks get higher up and we start to see more around the rank 10, 5, and so on up there, you know, the decks start to change a little bit because you're obviously just going to find better players. And I'm just playing in the intermediate bracket at this point. So I'm not, you know, with the best players at the moment. So I got to deal with the bracket I'm in. And the meta for my bracket seems to be more of the smaller decks because people are trying to get to the higher decks. And, you know, obviously we know that the smaller decks just seem to perform a little bit better. So I'm going to consecrate here. I was contemplating at one point using the Wild Pyromancer, but, you know, the problem was that it was going to kill my minions there. Big problem. So why am I not attacking with the Shade at this point? At this 12-7? Well, I'll tell you why. First reason is that he's most likely got a Hex. That's a very standard card that Shamans run. If I attack in, sure, it's gonna do half damage to him. It's gonna bring him down to, I don't know, 11 or something. That would be fantastic and all, but considering he has these taunts, it's just gonna take 1 or 2 taunts to stop me in my tracks, and I'm not gonna be able to deal any damage to him. So my only shot at this is to take a gamble and to hope that I get the Blessed Champion. So the plan currently, as I said, is a gamble, and that's going to be trying to eliminate taunts. I'm going to let him hit my face, and the hope is that I get that Blessed Champion, or maybe even a Leroy Jenkins would help at this point as well, and then I can just hit him in his face. So you think about it. I can put the Blessed Champion on the Shade, that'll bring up to 16, and then I can get Leroy Jenkins. That would be a finisher. However, since he has been stalling a lot, you know, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. So I may have to get rid of that taunt right now. But okay, we've got the Windlord. Is he gonna Rockbiter that? That'd be devastating if he had. Okay, he doesn't. Doesn't look like he has it. You know, if you think about it, he probably could have won the game there if he just had a Rockbiter. I'm surprised that he didn't. I mean, that's also another card that Shamans typically run. Well, there's Blessings of Kings. You know, that, now that I think about it, was a major misplay because I could have silenced that Windlord and hit him for his face. Oh, you know what? No, it wouldn't have made a difference. No, yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, so yes, I could have actually hit him in the face and I may have lived that turn because he may have only been able to do 10 damage. That would have left me at 3 health. But the fact that he had that combo, which you just saw right there, which was the Sylvanas and then the Reincarnate, pretty much meant that he would have stole my minion anyways and then hit me for another 3 damage. So I would have lost anyways, irregardless of what I did. I mean, it still may have been better just to have gone for the face, and that, I don't know. I don't think I could have won that, but that's alright. It's not a big problem. Alright, so Eldor, Peacekeeper, Knife Juggler, and Iron Beak Owl. We're playing against Jay, the Priest, and I want to say that I've played this guy before. If I'm right, this guy, he has the stupid Priest deck, and it's got the Taunt in it. And it also has the Divine Spirit and the Inner Fire combo in it. So I may see that in this deck. I'm almost certain I've played this guy. It's like Deja Vu. Let's get the Knife Juggler out. Well, you know, it's always a gamble. Part of me says that, you know, I probably should have known better because I know, once again, that priests always carry that card. And it's a fairly good card, provided they play it right. And I mean, you know, for those 2-drop minions, it's fantastic because, I mean, you know, it's so cheap. And it's just, it's really good removal and you don't have to use a Shadow Word Pain. Alright, so we got the 2-2 on the board. Okay, see? That's exactly what I was talking about. It is this guy. So he's going to play the stupid 1-7, and he's going to try and put it to 14 and then buff it again. That's the exact reason why I'm getting rid of it right now, because I know he's going to do that. And God only knows he's already got it in his hand. So I'm not making that mistake again. Alright, so I got the 5-1. Gonna bring the Wild Pyromancer out. He's obviously gonna trigger it with this. There we go, Thought Steal. Trigger with the spell. You know, now that I'm not playing Priest anymore, I kind of said it in my last video, I really despise that Thought Steal. It is so frustrating. And you know, when you're sitting on the other side of the spectrum, it's really frustrating because when your deck is made up of fairly good cards, they're almost guaranteed that they're gonna draw into something good. Which, you know, is such an advantage. I mean, especially for a priest. I mean, oh, look at that. True Silver Champion. That's like one of my best cards. And that's what he draws into. That's really frustrating. But, you know, it's part of the game. That's what happens. So I'm not gonna, you know, best thing is not to stress about it too much. Just trying to remind yourself it's a game. Alright, so we got the 1-1. That's gonna get buffed, which is nice because it's got that Divine Shield. The bonus about that is that if I get the Blessings of Kings onto that Argent Squire, it's going to be very difficult unless he has Shadow... what is it? The Death card, the Shadow Word Death. That's the downside to that, is that I'm almost certain that he's got at least one iteration of that card, or maybe even 2. So the second that you buff it, you better be ready to use it. Because if you know, leave it till next turn, you can kiss it goodbye. Very high probability they'll remove it. It's a very stupid idea to not remove that Divine Shield. Personally, we'll probably see him remove it this turn, unfortunately. Because he's got the 1-7, you know, it's no point now. I mean, if I was him, I'd use that 1-7, ping off that shield immediately. That is such a threat, leaving that on the board. Alright, there you go. So he knows, which is good. Yeah, so if you're watching and maybe you're stuck at around rank 24, always remove the Divine Shield when you get a chance, especially when it's in the hands of a Paladin. And keep in mind, if you know, also the Blood Mage does run people's decks. Maybe not in the higher ranks. I don't think they may use it as much, but in the mid-range and a little bit higher, maybe around 18, 19, I saw it a lot. It's an easy way to get that 6/6 out.
I must consider.
Alright, Wild Pyromancer. I'm assuming he stole that from me. Unfortunately, he just cleared my board, which sucks. Alright, so we got 2 of the Ironbeak Owls, which is nice. Consecrate, Equality combo. And we got the Shade, which I'm going to have to get out. You see, it's turn 10. Or past that already, and the Shade's only coming out, which is one of the major problems. If you don't get this card earlier on, it's not going to be, you know, very, you know, much use to you. Especially, and got a Holy Note. I was just about to actually talk about that, because, again, I also had a Priest that did that earlier. When I was not recording, that if you throw that card down, any type of area of effect will remove it right away, which most players are starting to figure that out, that you need to do. Otherwise, that Shade's gonna build. You know, some players can navigate around it and they don't really care. It's just, it all depends on your playstyle. But personally, if it was me, because of the fact that it may get buffed and it can, you know, do significant damage to you, you probably would want to get rid of it. Especially since there's no way to target it. Well, obviously you can do the Equality Consecration if you're playing a Paladin. That would work too. Or maybe even a Brawl if you have a, you know, in your Warrior. But, I mean, I just don't see Warriors very often unless it's Control. Alright, Kern, Bloodhoof. We're seeing another, you know, another player, should I say, playing that card. It's really, you know, not looking good right now. And that was a mistake on my part, because I should have played the Owl first and then the Elder Peacekeeper, but let me tell you something right now, that when you start trying to go for rank 10, you need to slow down and really think through every single play, because look at my cock-up right here, is that because of that screw-up that I just did, I'm going to be eating another 3 damage to my face, which may make the difference between living and surviving in the endgame. It may make that difference between surviving one more turn to get Leroy out and finish the player. So, you know, when you get up to around about rank 14, 13, 12, 11, you really got to make those plays count. And I have been trying to get better at watching and thinking through what I'm doing, but occasionally something stupid like that slips by. It's very frustrating. So at this point, I have to do the Equality Consecration combo. I cannot afford to take another 12 to the face. It's, at this point, unlikely that I'll be able to win this game. I don't have my Shade on. I don't have Sword of Justice.
Someone injured?
I don't really have, for say, any minions. And once again, you know, my deck is more... It works better in the beginning when I can start getting things going. But after that, you know, this guy has done a successful job in kind of stalling me. He's also done a very good job at just removing any of my cards. And maybe one of his strategies might be just to wear his opponent out and just, you know, try and get that combo off, the Divine Fire, what is it, the Divine Spirit Inner Fire combo. And also the Thought Steal has really screwed me. Let's go to my Echoing Ooze. That's not, you know, for... obviously better in the Paladin, but... The good news is that he doesn't have any major minions on the board. The bad news is that I do know that he still probably has the Shadow Word Death. So if I buff my recruit, it means it's probably going to instantly die. But at this point, I may have to take that chance. I'm really just hoping I can draw into a Blessed Champion so I can try and make something happen here. Wild Pyromancer. Not gonna really do me any good here, but don't really have anything else to play, so.
Reporting for duty.
I should have known that too. You know, that Shadow Madness has been played a lot too. Dude, he got my Blessed Champion. It's the card I needed.
Reporting for duty. For justice.
You know, someone might have said, well, why did you play the Wild Pyromancer when you had the equality combo? The reason is that at this point, he's probably assuming that I have that in my hand. In this case, I only had part of it, but you can see that he's not playing a lot of minions. And by not playing a lot of minions and just kind of controlling what I'm doing on the board, he can kind of ensure that he doesn't waste any cards. And considering that I wiped out a couple of his minions earlier on in the game, he obviously is aware of the fact that it could happen again. See Lotheb and 2 of that. Another Wild Pyromancer. That was very lucky. So here's an example of what I'm talking about, that even though, yes, it is costing my spells a lot more, it didn't stop me from pulling off a combo. So don't assume it's a foolproof card and throw all your minions on the board thinking that, oh, I don't have to worry. Yeah, you should still worry because, well, the unfortunate reality is that it looks like it is GG. I don't think I can beat this.
The light protects me.
Very sad day indeed.
Reporting for duty. For justice.
I mean, realistically, I could have done 10 to his face. At this point, would have brought down to 13. Well, there you go. It would not have made a difference. Because that taunt... 2 things. Likely, that taunt would have blocked me. Number 1. Number 2, he most likely would have deathed it. And I can almost guarantee I'd place money on the fact that he has at least 1 or 2 in his hand. So, it's just really... It's just one of those games, unfortunately, there was really not much I could do. There was maybe a few areas in the game that maybe I could have taken some better, you know, risks, but I did what I could. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Comment, subscribe, let me know what you think. GovNer out.